Welcome to Thinking Re-envisioned with your host, Henry G. Noel. I guess you could say he's standing conventional wisdom on its head. Here's Henry.
Welcome, everyone, to the premiere of Thinking Re-envisioned, a show designed around you, the world, and the hows and whys we perceive the world the way we do. Heady, yes, but I believe in a good way, meaning stimulating and invigorating and rousing. Now, I'm looking forward to stimulating your interest about yourself and your place in this world. I want to invigorate your appetite to learn how all of the crap that we have learned and have to deal with, and the responsibility that this learning has had in creating the world that we live in. And I want to rouse your curiosity so you can better sense makes the world and gain control of your life and eliminate the negative aspects of the world as it affects you and gets you in the beginning to begin questioning and to begin questioning everything. Now, Thinking Re-envisioned is your access code to the unknown, where reality is the illusion and the illusion is the reality. It's your Lego set to a future of whatever it is you can dream of. Now, we're broadcasting live and globally this evening, thanks to our good friends at Wirecast from our international uplink studio in Ecuador. We are live on IPMNation.com. Thinking Re-envisioned's Facebook and YouTube pages with Fly on the Wall video on Facebook and YouTube. Now, I want to thank our listeners who are tuning in on live radio, those listening to our rebroadcast, and our Fly on the Wall video listeners. It weren't for you. I really would be here, and I'd probably be sitting in front of my computer with a glass of wine. What I'd be doing now. Well, wait a minute. I am sitting with a glass of wine. So we'll have to see how things go. Anyway, let's see what we got. Anyway, I wanted to want to let you all understand that it's our intention to present you with fact, explaining how we got points of our existence and why we feel lost and hopeless and confused. Who continues to contribute to the fracture and separation of the human race, and what we need to do to change all this. This is where audio acupuncture steps to aid you in your chronic philosophical pain, where auricular therapy aids your anxiety, and medical qigong for your body, mind, and spirit, Reiki for your rationality, all to provide a natural approach to medical mayhem we call life. Well, welcome to Healing in the Nth Degree. For all of your listeners who feel like participating in the show, email me, please, and send your questions to Henry at henrygmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you're listening to our rebroadcast and voice your opinions, email me, and I will reply. I am trying to create an avenue for everyone to be actively involved in this show. Thinking Re-envisioned. We're here to make you think. We're here to make you question. So if you're ready and you feel comfortable, to go ahead and kick off your shoes, kick back and relax, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm trusting that everyone has had a very enjoyable so far Thursday thus far. We want to thank you for joining us on Thursday evening. So let's get into the thread and say hi to our Fly on the Wall video listeners and see who happens to be joining us this evening. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Now, all righty. Alice, thank you. I'm going to back to this connection. Appreciate it. Rita, thank you. You found us also. Mr. Brian Brown. Welcome to Thinking Re-envisioned. How are you, sir? My brother did make it across, no problem. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, I thank you too. Appreciate it. And let's see. Oh, Maria, thank you. Young to see you join us. And let's see. Yep, big hello. Yep, I got you. That's perfect. Big hello to Brian. I'm so glad he's here. Thank you so much, Candace. You made it. You got yourself hooked up. I was afraid I was going to lose you. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. We appreciate you coming in and supporting the fact that this is the premier show for Thinking Re-envisioned, and for me too. I mean, this is really nerve wracking now. I mean, filling in for the Brian man, that was hard enough, but boy, this is really something. Sarah, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, and I do. Let's see, off and back on. Can I turn my microphone back off and back on? I'm not sure that's before doing that actually, because that's a brother thing here. Just control all the volume and it's going to be across the airway. So we'll have to see how things go there. Again, I don't know what this sounds like because I can't hear myself, so it's hard. Candace, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Wow. So when do you want to start off here? And yeah, we're just doing fine. We got. I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about, give you an idea of what thinking, what intention I had behind it in the creation of this show. There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Now, Thinking Re-envisioned is an idea, and it is now, and it has been developed for a very simple purpose. And its intention is to teach us there are many, many ways to look at something. Whether that something is world events or political policies, religious doctrine, or what some celebrity is doing to another, how we react is what gives these somethings credibility. Now, I'm not saying never react, because there are times when we must react. In fact, in 1976, the movie Network was a prime example of it. I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore, was the caption line I came across in that movie, and became a battle cry for the disenfranchised. Now, because there are times when we must stand up for ourselves, fight back, and demand accountability, when idleness just becomes a problem. But it got much more to do about picking the right moment to react, or when to stay in non-reactive. And these decisions come from our learnings and our belief systems and our perceptions. So we react to all sorts of things that get presented in the news. Our emotions are purposely targeted by news agencies to boost ratings. The more serious question to ask, to me, at least in my opinion, is how do you react? And directed at you guys. How do you react when presented by these news stories? How have you reacted in the past? What it is we're told. So, what is your reaction? Let's say to the most recent one is the Tree of Life Synagogue shooting. Does it really make sense to you? Do the explanations being given seem reasonable? And does the senseless taking of lives have a more sinister purpose? What about all the school shootings that we've had in our just recent history here? I mean, there's been horrendous. Nothing of what you hear. He would say, talk is cheap and trust is in the actions. He'd also say, don't just follow the money to see who benefits. Look to see who loses the most if the event hadn't taken place. Now, it's because of this that I do demand the truth, and I do not stand by and accept lies as fact or truth. I investigate, I question, I match fact for fact, I react accordingly or not, depending on my findings. Now, perhaps we would be better to determine the validity of an event, which requires us to stop the gut reaction and investigate. Here's questions that flood the world with misdirected emotions and overreactions. Now, in 1979, Kenny Rogers produced an album called Kenny Rogers' Singles Album. Now, the 13th song on this album is, and I would be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't know this song, it's called The Gambler. And in the song, there are lyrics that I find very heavily powerful information. And it goes here. You've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Now, life is extremely complicated, and knowing how to live life makes living it worthwhile. Up to now, well, we've been doing the best we can based on our learnings, systems, and perceptions. Now, through Thinking Re-envisioned, we will develop new perspectives and new learnings so we can create new beliefs of our own making rather than those that we've given up to this point. Now, this will allow us to live our lives on our terms. giving us the knowledge to know when to hold, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away and know when to run. Vision to provide us the knowledge, the important decisions on when and how to react. Reacting is to know when and how to stop. Take a breath, investigate for ourselves, and react when that is required. Now, to be able to recognize when our intentions are being misdirected and misled by distractions, and to give us, well, the tools we need to stand up for ourselves, to fight back if required, and to not be so thin-skinned, or so fearful that we are willing to become victims. Again, got to know when to hold and know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Now, life didn't come with an instruction manual. At our inception, we knew love and trust. And then our learnings began, our indoctrination into fear, hate, mistrust, lies, and discrimination. That has become our manual, our guidelines, our belief systems. We have been slipping and sliding ever since. So thinking re-envisioned wants to change all that. Give us the knowledge we need to develop this, not to accept the egotistical ramblings of those who seek control, but to show the valuelessness in their proclaimed power, wealth, and control. Now, we're not supposed to accept the example of their empty talk. We're supposed to be the example and walk the talk. The only thing in our way is the propaganda manual given to us on how we are to live by laws, religious doctrine, and through fear, hate, lies, intimidation, violence, discrimination, labels, and social characterization. We don't have a chance or the time to discover how we're supposed to live our lives. We're thinking re-envisioned must give us that chance and the time. So thinking re-envisioned may not have all the answers, but it sure knows how to ask the questions. It will be through these questions and the examples where we will learn the answers. We simply have to decide whether we want to invest the time to learn or not. Now, whether you do or you don't, that really doesn't affect me at all. But I am hoping they will succeed. Now, in 2005, there was a mystery thriller called V for Vendetta. Now, V has survived at this point in the movie. He has survived an onslaught of bullets from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Creedy and his troops. Now, Mr. Creedy, with V's hands around his neck, asks, "Why don't you die?" And V, as he was about to kill McCready, says, "Beneath this mask is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof." So, welcome to Thinking the Vision, the new idea. So, anyway, let's see where we are. If we still have a thread, I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me and see how things are going. Anyway, um, well, thank you very much, Rita. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate it. I'm hoping that everyone is still on the line. If somebody could send me just a quick note so I know, because everything seemed to disappear from my side. I really am not sure. So I'm kind of hoping that everybody's there. We'll see in just a little bit here. But yeah, I think it's very important that the concept of what thinking re-envisioned is to give us a different way to look at things. You know, we all have. Let's put it this way, and Brian is a perfect example in trying to show this, and we talked about this on his show one time, is that you could have 10 people witness an activity, and you're going to get 10 different viewpoints when asked what happened. And so, I think that's part of the situation. And I think we even talked about the experience that they have on YouTube. It's a video that they have where people are asked to pay attention to what the people are doing and count how many times they pass the ball back and forth. And all of a sudden, at the end of the video, the first question asked is, who saw the monkey go across the stage? Well, nobody saw the monkey, because our focus was on what the balls were, how many times the balls were going back and forth. So this is part of what I'm trying to get us to understand, is that we are so focused and so trained to react to what comes over the news wire, the distractions that we're given from observing something else. The way things are presented politically and religiously are to make us angry and to get us upset. And we're blinded by all of this stuff, so we don't really get to see the true picture. And that is part of what I want to try to do with this show. I think it's extremely important that we really learn and understand where we are in our lives and the reasons why we do what it is we do, and why we act the way we do, and disbelieve as quickly as we possibly can, because it is our training. We've learned it from our parents, from our parents' parents, and our parents did the best job they could do, but they had to deal with the same situation we did. And then we've learned it from our teachers, and then of course we learned it from the politicians, from our religious leaders, our friends, our co-workers, and so we have been bombarded with other people's belief systems, other people's viewpoints, other people's opinions, that we don't have our own. And we have been so covered up with everyone else's mashugana that we can't even identify. We don't even know who we are, much less why we think the way we do or what our opinions are, because they're not ours. They simply just are not ours. And so that's where I'm finding it extremely hard, very difficult to really see the way we really need to do things. And that's why we created this show, to give us a different view on things. So when we are all looking at the same thing, we all see the same thing. Not programming, but stripping away the programming that we've had allows us to then see what it is we're supposed to see. And that's the only way I think we will be able to do that. Again, I'm not positive if this is really still going on. I'm going to just keep on going until the 58-minute mark, and then we'll go from there. We'll end it there. But I'm not getting really any communication back and forth, and my brother's long gone, so I have no idea if he's still doing his thing or not. So I'm going to keep plugging along and keep seeing what happens, and see if he shows back up. But anyway, so this is what Thinking Re-envisioned is. I want to take what we've learned and start stripping away some of the stuff that we have learned, so that we can get a different look at it. I mean, when you realize little children, I mean, they don't know hate from anything. They just simply love and trust. I mean, that's it. They trust you're going to feed them. They trust that you're going to change them, and they don't even think about it. It's not until we start the learning process do we start getting programmed, and where we start developing and understanding what it is to hate your neighbor, or what it is to hate a certain color, or what if it's the way to hate a certain religion. And it's so much of it is simply thrown at us that we don't take the time and that's part of it. And maybe that's part of the programming that we've all gone through, is that we don't question anymore. I mean, again, I was very fortunate. I had a father that forced me to question everything, and man, I had to learn how to ask the right way, ask the correct question, and ask it the correct way. Otherwise, I wouldn't get the answer. I mean, it was literally, "Dad, you know what time it is?" And my dad would go, "Yep," and I didn't get an answer. It was the wrong way to ask the question, and so I'm trying to go now with all of this, and in hopes that you will understand that there are right and wrong ways to ask questions, and that's how we're going to have to try to do this. So, okay, so let's see, what do we got? Oh, I think I got a little bit more activity here. I still don't see my brother, but that's okay. But again, thank you for. I'm glad. Hopefully, you are listening. You are hearing all of this. We are really attempting to change the way we see, the way we think, the way we hear, and the way we talk. And we're trying to change everything about us, because it hasn't worked. I mean, look at the world; it's a mess. And one way to fix the world is to fix each of us. And if we can get people to understand, who at this point dislike us for some reason, if we can get them to understand that we're both in the same boat, trying to paddle in the same direction, we may as well work together, because that's really what's required. I mean, again, we're all part of the human race. That's the only race there is on this planet. And to see us hating and killing and fighting each other, to me, it's a loss. What a loss of knowledge. What a loss of an ability to go ahead and learn something from someone else's viewpoint. What an opportunity to heal wounds and soothe, battered bones, and just put people together, to reunite people under the guise of what we're supposed to be, brothers and sisters. And so, yeah, I find it extremely helpful if we can do this. I think the world would be a much better place if we could do this, and I think we would be much better off with it. I mean, again, we're what, 8 billion people, and even if there were a million politicians in the world, do the math. 8 billion to a million. We really do have control of this world if we want it. We just don't do it. We haven't taken it. And we become a power to reckon with if we were to unite, which is, I believe, the reason why there's such a conspiracy to keep us separated, to find every reason they can for us to hate each other. And I mean, whether it's through religion, whether it's through politics, I mean, within the country, you're split down the middle on Democrat and Republican. I mean, you can't even talk to an opposing side. I mean, what in the world do you call that? There's no learning experience there at all. That is just ludicrous, that you got to stand that far side because you believe this is who you are. God, you've got nothing to do with that label that you've got. It's nothing about who you are. And everybody thinks that the president's the all-powerful person. Let me tell you, there's people pulling the strings on them too, and on all the political leaders. So, I can't understand why we are so willing to dislike and hate somebody just because they have a different political party, a different religion, different color skin, because they have a different sexual orientation. I'm sorry. What a waste of time. I mean, it's just a sad state of affairs that you could be on this planet for even if it's 100 years of that small period of time, and spent that whole time hating somebody because of a difference, rather than see the similarities, to see the reason to unify, to understand why we should be uniting together. This is thinking re-envisioned, because we're not getting anywhere close to getting this completed. We are divided, and we're finding every possible reason to divide ourselves even further. And like sheep, we follow along and accept that as gospel. That is the way we're going to do it. I'm going to hate that Republican because this is who I am. I'm going to hate that Democrat. I'm going to hate that Muslim because of this. Horrible. We've got to change our thinking. You didn't come out born hating. You learned it. And if you learned it, you can unlearn it because it's senseless. These are brothers and sisters. So they are brothers and sisters. And we go around hating like crazy. So anyway, that's a large part of just an introduction for what you can expect with thinking re-envision. I think it's time for it. I think we need to start rattling the cages and start really letting people know that it's just not right. It's just not acceptable to be doing what we've been doing every day of our lives. It's just wrong. And that there's another way to think. There's another way to see things. There's a way that we can unite. And it comes down to simply, if you really want to unite, you really want to see things change, you want to see yourself change, you want to understand different things, then please tune into Thinking Re-envision and we will get you there. Honestly, we will do everything we can to get you there. If you don't want to do that, then don't tune in if that's the case, because I'm going to be stepping on your toes. I believe we need to change. We believe we need to look at each other differently. We need to look at the world differently, and it's going to have to start with somebody. It has to start with somebody. Somebody has to take the initial step. So Thinking Re-envision is going to do that. And like I said, you're welcome to join the bandwagon. You're welcome to come along. I'd be thrilled to have you hang with us and continue to go through this. So if you get a chance, please tune in. It's about 2 minutes to go, I think. I'm not sure. Like I said, I lost my brother a long time ago, so I have no idea where he ended up going. We'll start off with All Natural Being for the first half hour, and then we will switch over to Thinking Re-envision. Two totally different topics, totally different shows, and this is how we're going to go ahead and do that. So I appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on Sunday evening, hopefully right around the same time. So again, I thank you very much, and I hope that you have a great weekend, by the way. It's a great time. And down here in Ecuador, for those living down here, this is 3 de Noviembre. It's a big holiday. And so please, go ahead and enjoy your weekend, and we will be with you on Sunday evening. So thank you very much. Enjoy. Take care. Hasta luego.